Have you ever owned something beautiful and never used it? Not because you didn't love it, but because you were waiting for a better day, waiting for a special event, waiting for the right moment. Maybe it's a dress. Maybe it's a skill. Maybe it's a dream. Maybe it's even a part of you. And somehow, the moment never feels special enough. So the dress stays in the closet, the opportunity stays on hold, and life keeps moving without asking for permission. What if the day you're waiting for is already here? What if the ordinary moments you're overlooking are the events? This is the story of a girl just like you, who chose living over waiting. And if you're honest, it might be yours too. Nadia had already learned how to postpone her own life. She didn't think of herself as a perfectionist. She thought she was careful. But her days were full of quiet delays. When she sent messages, she rewrote them until they lost their warmth. When she had ideas, she refined them until they never reached the world. When someone complimented her, she deflected instead of receiving it. When an opportunity came, she waited for more confidence, more clarity, more certainty. Her older sister Layla would watch her from across the room and say gently, "You don't have to be ready to begin." But Nadia would smile and say, "I just want it to be right." And right kept moving further away. The truth was simple. Nadia feared being seen before she felt safe. She feared starting something that might not succeed. She feared regret, so she chose delay. Over time, her world began to shrink. She stopped trying new things. She avoided risks. She hesitated in conversations. Some days, she'd sit at her desk and realize she had spent the entire afternoon preparing to begin, always preparing, never arriving. Then came the invitation, a small community gathering, a familiar room, a brief chance to speak. She said she'd confirm later, after she refined her notes. She wanted the message to feel clear, confident, complete. By the time she felt ready, the deadline had passed. Someone else stepped in. She told herself it didn't matter. But that evening, when she saw the photos online, she felt something she couldn't name. Not jealousy, not regret, just the quiet realization. She had been preparing while someone else had simply begun. And life kept moving. Then one afternoon, while walking past a shop window, she stopped. A dress, deep burgundy silk. The fabric didn't shout for attention. It simply existed, elegant, steady, certain. The embroidery along the hem caught the light in a way that felt intentional. For the first time in a long while, Nadia didn't analyze. She didn't ask whether she deserved it. She didn't calculate the occasion. She only felt something she couldn't name. Possibility. And that feeling scared her. Because possibility requires action, and action means no longer waiting. She stepped inside. She bought the dress, not because she had somewhere to wear it, but because she wanted to believe someday would come. When she brought it home, Layla touched the sleeve. This is not an ordinary dress. Grandma looked up from the kitchen. That's beautiful. Then she added quietly, just don't wait too long to wear beautiful things. Nadia laughed softly. It's for a special occasion. Grandma nodded. Life usually is. Nadia hung the dress carefully in her closet and told herself the same quiet promise she had made so many times before. Not yet. But this time, the dress was watching her back. Grandma's birthday arrived quietly, but the house did not. cardamom on the stove, old recipes pulled from familiar drawers. The table set with extra care, as if the day itself deserved attention. It felt, in every way, like the kind of occasion Nadia had always been waiting for. And Layla moved through the house with ease, choosing her outfit, helping with preparations, laughing freely. She belonged to the moment. Nadia stood before her open closet. The burgundy dress hung there, still patient, luminous in the soft morning light. Her fingers touched the silk. She imagined how it would feel, how it would move, how it would look in photographs taken in the hallway. This could be the day. But immediately? What if something better comes later? What if this isn't special enough? She stepped back, closed the closet. At the party, the house filled with laughter. Neighbors arrived, music played, candles were lit. Layla caught her eye across the room. Not accusation, understanding. Why not the dress? Nadia gave the answer she had practiced her whole life. It's for a special occasion. Layla held her gaze for a moment. Not judgment, just recognition. Then she turned back to the room. Grandma had heard everything. She didn't interrupt. She didn't make it a lesson. She waited. Later that evening, after the guests had gone and the house had settled, Grandma found Nadia on the back step. The air was cooler now. They sat together without speaking. Then Grandma said softly, "I once had a pair of earrings I loved very much." Nadia listened. "Small gold ones. Your grandfather gave them to me when we were young. I kept them in a box for years, always waiting for the right occasion." She paused. 30 years passed like that. The first time I finally wore them was to a funeral. The night settled around them. By then, I understood something I wish I had known sooner. The moments we call ordinary are the ones that quietly become the memories we keep. The birthday dinners, the slow mornings, the conversations that start small and end with someone knowing you better. Her voice softened. Well, we spend so much time waiting for life to become special. We forget that it already is. Grandma didn't mention the dress. She didn't have to. That night, Nadia opened her closet. She looked at the dress for a long time. She thought about Grandma's words. She thought about Layla laughing across the room. And for the first time, the question in her mind shifted. Not, is the dress special enough? But, have I been overlooking the life happening around it? She closed the door. Not tonight, but something inside her had moved. The next morning, she opened the closet again. The dress was still there. Deep burgundy silk, quiet, patient. She stood the way she always did, thinking, weighing, measuring. Her hand touched the fabric, and the familiar thought almost arrived. Not yet. She paused. From the kitchen, the soft clink of cups. Layla's voice. Grandma humming to herself. Ordinary sounds. The kind of morning she used to believe wasn't important enough for beautiful things. She lifted the dress from the hanger. This time, she didn't put it back. She stood at the mirror, not to judge, not to ask whether the dress was right for the day, just to look. The burgundy silk fell the way she had always imagined, steady, unhurried, certain of itself in a way she was still learning to be. She noticed the embroidery along the hem, quieter here than in the shop window. Just detail, just care, just something made with intention. And the old thought arrived, right on schedule. Is this too much for an ordinary morning? She almost listened. Then, Grandma laughed at something Layla said. A small laugh, unannounced, the kind that doesn't know it's being heard. Nadia looked at herself one more time and made a decision that had nothing to do with the dress. The people in that kitchen, their laughter, their mourning, their ordinary and irreplaceable presence, deserved to be shown up for. Fully, without waiting, she turned from the mirror and walked toward the sound of living. The kitchen smelled of cardamom. Grandma at the table, Layla at the stove. When Nadia walked in, the morning light touched the burgundy silk. For a brief second, the fabric caught the sunlight, the same way it had in the shop window. But this time, she didn't look at it. She was too busy laughing with Layla. Grandma glanced at the dress, then at Nadia. She didn't comment. She simply poured another cup of tea, and for the first time in a long while, Nadia wasn't waiting for life to begin. She was already inside it. You have something beautiful too. Maybe it's been waiting a long time. A dress, a dream, a version of yourself you keep saving for later. Life doesn't announce the right moment, just keeps moving through the ordinary ones. Wear the dress, start the idea, say the words. The occasion was never coming. It was always already here. Here. Don't wait for the right moment to find your next story. Subscribe to Tales by Cathie and let the next one begin.